Welcome back, Christian students at UC. Today we're doing the last episode of Healthy Habits for a Happy Christian, and the topic is singing. Singing is something that many people have done before, but oftentimes we miss the significance of singing. I'm sure all of you, or some of you, have grown up singing hymns and songs in church, maybe with your family, maybe around the holidays. But actually, singing is much deeper than just sitting in your car listening to the radio and singing along. Actually, what we're doing is we're singing to the Lord. Ephesians 5:19 says, singing and psalming with your heart to the Lord. So we want to help you a little bit today to see more what singing is and how you can incorporate more into your daily life as a good habit. So that way, when you're singing, you can actually touch the Lord in your singing. So in order to get into that first, we have to cover that man is made of three parts. You've heard this before, 1 Thessalonians 5:23, spirit, soul, and body. Now, we are mainly in our soul. In our soul, the middle, that secondary ring, is composed of our mind, our emotion, and our will. And many times when we sing, it's very easy to sing in your emotions. You've all experienced this. You're singing a song, that is nostalgic, brings back a memory. A song that makes you happy, a song that makes you sad. Songs are often in your emotions. But when you're singing to the Lord, actually, we have to go beyond that. We can't just remain in our emotions. If we sing songs that we like the tune, that we're familiar with, that make us happy or stir up a certain emotion in us, but we never go deeper to touch our spirit, then it's actually a very shallow, it's not really touching the Lord. So actually, we need to learn to break past just the emotions and to touch the spirit, our spirit in our singing. John 4:24 says, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truthfulness. When you're having worship, singing is a big part of that worship. But are we singing in our spirit? Are we touching the spirit, or are we just staying in our emotions? No, there's also, right, like I said, there's two other parts of our soul, the mind and the will. And actually, if we can exercise all three of those parts of our being, plus our spirit, then our singing will be so much deeper. Actually, we will be able to sing with our whole being to God. So one that you college students, I exhort you to break through in this, is to sing while exercising your will. When I was a college student, I showed up to the meeting sometimes, but I wasn't there. Like my mind was wandering all over the place, or I'm singing and I'm self-conscious. My voice isn't that good, or I don't really like this song, or like I'm thinking of that other person across this, or I'm thinking of what I want to do when I get home after the meeting. You're there physically and you're moving your mouth, but you're not singing and you're not exercising your will to touch that singing. So, as a college student, I encourage you, don't worry how you look, how you sound. Don't worry if your roommate's gonna hear you. Don't worry about being embarrassed. You have to drop all those things so that way you can sing to the Lord. Now, the other thing is singing with your mind. Now, there are many hymns that are full of very rich content, but I'm sure you've experienced this. You sing a song, and you know all the words, but it doesn't mean anything to you. You've sang it your whole life. You're familiar with it. But actually, we wanted to start. Well, the video's about singing, so what are we going to do? We should sing. And the first hymn that we're going to sing is a song that you guys are all very familiar with. Everyone's familiar with this song. But I'm sure that most of us have not touched the truth, the depths, the riches in this hymn. So, come on, brothers, join me. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. So, this looks like we're just Christmas caroling, right? I'm sure you guys have all heard this song, but There are so much riches in this hymn. Actually, this was written in the 1700s by Charles Wesley. And just this morning, I was sitting there digging through the lyrics. And in these 4 stanzas, I found at least 26 verses from the Bible scattered all throughout the Old and New Testament. And think about it. How did he write a hymn that is loaded with so many verses? He must have been a person that knew the Bible front to back, cover to cover. He could probably recite, all these verses in his sleep. He knew it. It was part of who he was. And as a result, he poured out his heart and he wrote a hymn that's like a condensation of all these verses. And actually, there's one verse that I'm sure you sang this song, but you probably haven't sang verse 4. I don't even know if you knew there was a verse 4. But let me just go through verse 4 and see how many verses from the Bible are in the stanza 4. Sorry, I keep calling them verses. Come, desire of nations, come. That's Haggai 2:7. Fix in us thy humble home. I found Ephesians 3:17. Rise, the woman's conquering seed. That's Genesis 3:15. Bruise in us the serpent's head. That's Genesis 3:15. And Romans 16:20. Adam's likeness now effaced. There's a bunch of verses here. I put Romans 5:14, Romans 8:3, Romans 6:5. Stamp thine image in its place. Final Adam from above. 1 Corinthians 15:45. Reinstate in us thy love. The last 4 lines, I could say Romans 5:14, Romans 8:3, Romans 6:5, 1 Corinthians 15:45, 47, and 49. So I think there's at least 12 verses in just stanza 4. So Charles Wesley filled this hymn, even just this one stanza, with so many verses. But is he just showing off how many verses he knows? No, he knows the entire Bible from beginning to end, and he saw something. And that's why he chose the verses he chose. Actually, if you just look at just stanza 4, you can see so much divine revelation here. Come, desire of nations, come, fix in us thy home. That's the Lord coming in order to make his home in our heart. And when he makes his home in our heart, what does he do? He bruises the serpent's head in our being. And through that, he's able, through all the believers collectively, to bruise Satan's head permanently in the end. And what does he do? He stamps out Adam's sinful nature that is within us and replaces it with the divine nature of God in our being. That's all from just stanza 4. And Charles Wesley saw it and he wrote it in a hymn. So isn't it a shame if we sing this hymn every holiday season and we don't get anything out of it? We should exercise our mind to receive all the riches in these hymns. 1 Corinthians 14:15 says, I will sing with the spirit and I will sing also with the mind. So I want to encourage you, use that other part of your soul, that your mind, when you're singing, not just your mind, but your mind and your spirit, in order to dig out the riches, the truth that is in the hymns that we sing. So the next hymn I want to bring out, the first one has a lot of truth, right? Has a lot of the word in it. But this second one is actually a condensation of a person's experience, their personal experience with the Lord. I looked up the author of this hymn. Their name is Ora Roman, and I couldn't find a biography. I couldn't find a history. I don't even know if they're a man or a woman. But when I read and I sing this hymn, I actually touch that experience that they went through. It might have been they passed through a whole lifetime's worth of experience between them and the Lord, and they condensed that into one hymn. And when we sing it, we can touch that experience. So please join me. Heard him, seen him, known him. Is not thine a captured hawk? Sheep among 10,000 own him. Joyful choose a better part. Captivated by his beauty, worthy tribute haste to bring. Let his peerless worth constrain thee. Crown him now unrivaled king. So this hymn is about the author of this hymn. You can tell from the lyrics that they were struggling with things in their heart that they loved more than the Lord. Actually, it says many times, idols, idols, idols. What has stripped the seeming beauty from the idols of the earth? So this person wanted to love the Lord, but there were things that they loved more. And they tried to not love those things, but they found that it was impossible to just try to not love things. But what turned them was that they saw the Lord. And what does this, the chorus say? Captivated by his beauty. So this person, Ora Roman, he or she was captivated by the beauty of the Lord. And actually, the entire hymn is about their experience of how when they saw that the Lord was so much better, it was effortless for them to let go of those things that they loved. Actually, here in verse 4, it says, not the crushing of those idols, not his or her own trying to crush the idols with its bitter void and smart, but the beaming of his beauty, the unveiling of his heart. That's what captivated them by his beauty. When they saw him and the unveiling of his heart, they fell in love, and it was effortless. And then verse 6, 'tis that look that melted Peter, 'tis the face that Stephen saw, 'tis the heart that wept with Mary, can alone from idols draw. So this person saw that these people in the Bible, in the New Testament, right? Why were they willing to die for the Lord? Why were they willing to go through all the suffering in the Lord's name? Because they also were ones that saw the Lord's supreme beauty. They were captivated by his beauty, and it was worth it. It was worth more than anything that the world could offer them. So this is a hymn full of rich experience. And I think when you sing a hymn with so much experience, it should resonate within your being. You know, maybe you haven't gone through an experience like that. Maybe you still are struggling with things that you love rather than the Lord. Maybe you are in the midst of trying to stop loving these things. And maybe you haven't seen the Lord and been captivated by his beauty. So when you sing a hymn like this, don't just sing it. Actually, when you finish, you should pray it. There's so many good prayers in this hymn. Lord, captivate me by your beauty. Lord, there's so many idols in my heart that I can't get rid of. I don't know how. I'm so tired of trying. Lord, but show me your heart. Captivate me with your beauty. And when you pray it, the experiences that they went through can become your own experience. You know, I hope that when we spend so much time singing, a healthy habit of singing, we have so many landmark hymns in our own Christian experience that are so experiential to us. You know, I'm not just saying empty words, captivated by his beauty, but I have experienced being captivated by the Lord's beauty. So actually, here I want to transition to the next hymn. This hymn has a personal significance to me. This is one that really, really shepherded me and supplied me while I was going through a really hard time. So, come on.
If you wish to find the Lord, do not seek him in the world, for the world is not the place in which he dwells, 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 for the world is not the place in which he dwells. If you wish to find the Lord, you must open up your heart. You must open up your heart and let him in. Let him in, let him in, let him in, let him in. You must open up your heart and let him in.
So this hymn, actually this morning I was singing it with the brothers before filming this Bible study, and tears were welling up in my eyes. And so this is a very personal hymn to me. And I was going through a very hard time, and as I was singing this hymn, it was like exactly what I was going through. So when I hit verse 3 that we just sang, you know, I just opened up my heart and let him in, and it was just exactly what I needed during that time. So I hope, you know, all the hymns that we sing, there are so many that become real to you, that become yours, you know. Maybe out of the 4 brothers that were singing it together, maybe for 3 of them, they just like the tune, you know. But for me, it's like a special hymn. It's like this was a landmark moment between me and the Lord. So as we're singing, you know, I just want to encourage you that this is not a performance. You know, this is not just for show or just something that you do in a habitual, ritualistic way, but actually it's a very personal thing that you can touch the Lord Jesus. You know, and like I was saying before, you can exercise not just your emotions, but exercise to use your mind, emotion, and will and your spirit. So that way you can sing with your entire being and you can really touch the Lord in a very personal and intimate way. So we wanted to finish with one last song, and it's a very simple song. It's a very sweet song, and I encourage you to maybe tomorrow morning you wake up a little bit early. You spend a little bit of time with the Lord. If you're embarrassed, you can sing quietly. If you're not embarrassed, you can wake your roommate up. But you sing this song to the Lord and you turn it into some prayers. You make this experiential too. You make this real between you and the Lord.
Draw me, dear Lord, draw me today from everything else, dear Lord. Draw me away, oh Lord. This whole world seems to weigh me down. All the cares, the strife, the sin within me and all around. But Lord, I want to set my heart, and Lord, I want to stay with you. 'Cause only when you're near to me is everything okay. And though everything may fall apart or everything go my way, it doesn't really matter, Lord, as long as I gain you today. Draw me, dear Lord, draw me today from everything else, dear Lord. Draw me away.